Hello everyone. Now I'm going to talk about waste management. What is a waste? The simplest way to describe waste is as something that adds no value. There are 7 types of waste. You can see them here. The easiest way to remember the types of waste is to remember the name Tim Wood. T stands for transport, then inventory, motion, waiting, overprocessing, overproduction, and lastly defects. First of all, the waste of transport. Transport is the movement of materials from one location to another. This is a waste as it adds zero value to the product. Transport adds no value to the product. You as a business are paying people to move material from one location to another. A process that only costs you money and makes nothing for you. The waste of transport the waste of transport can be very high. Then waste of inventory. Inventory costs you money. Every piece of product tied up in raw material, work in progress or finished goods has a cost, and until it is actually sold, that cost is yours. In addition to the pure cost of your inventory, it adds many other costs. Inventory feeds many other wastes. Inventory has to be stored. It needs space. It needs packaging, and it has to be transported around. It has the chance of being damaged during transport and becoming obsolete. The waste of inventory hides many of other wastes in your systems. Then the waste of motion. Excessive motion of either people or machine is a waste. Unnecessary motions are those movements of man or machine which are not as small or as easy to achieve as possible. By this, I mean bending down to retrieve heavy objects at floor level when they could be fed at waist level to reduce stress and time to retrieve. Excessive travel between workstations, excessive machine movements from start point to work start point are all examples of the waste of motion. All of these wasteful motions cost you time and money. They also cause stress on your employees and also machines. As we all know, the machines wear out. Then the waste of waiting. It is actually waiting line. We discussed earlier about the waiting line problem. The waste of waiting disrupts the flow of the manufacturing process. Then waste of overproduction. Overproduction can be the most deadliest out of all the 7 wastes. The waste of overproduction is making too much or too early. This is usually because of working with oversized batches, long lead times, poor supplier relations, and a host of other reasons. Overproduction leads to high level of inventory, which masks many of the problem within your organization. The aim of the company should be to make only what is required when it is required by the customer. Then the waste of overprocessing. The waste of overprocessing is where the inappropriate technique, oversized equipment, working to tolerances that are too tight, perform processes that are not required by the customer, and so forth. All of these things cost us time and money. One of the biggest examples of overprocessing in most companies is that the use of mega machines. This type of machines can do an operation faster than any other, but every process flow has to be routed through it, causing scheduling complications, delays, and so forth. Lastly, the waste of defects. This is the most obvious of the 7 wastes. It is not always easy to detect the defects before the products reach the customers. Quality errors that cause defects invariably cost you far more than you expect. Every defective item requires rework or replacement. It wastes resources and materials. It creates paperwork. It can lead to lost customers. The waste of defects should be prevented where possible. Better to prevent than to try to detect them. Then there are some other additional wastes. Firstly, waste of talent. Failing to make use of people within your organization is a waste of talent. This is an issue that many of our company fail to address. We still tend to operate within a command and control environment and take little real notice of what our employees really think and what they can contribute. Your employees are your greatest asset by far and can help you drive out many of the other wastes. Then there is also waste of resources. The failure to make efficient use of electricity, gas, water can be waste of resource. Not only does this waste cost you money, it is also a burden on our environment and society as a whole. That's the end of this video. Thank you very much.